Like I talk a lot about this same stuff and like your identity and self-talk, your thought life, like what are you telling yourself? And I always say awareness is the first step. You have to admit it to yourself. You have to be honest with yourself because that's where your power lies. Once you actually admit it to yourself, you become aware of it and admit it, that's where you have the agency to change it. If you're not going to admit it, you're not going to have any agency to change it. So I love that. When I talk to clients, I sometimes have them like struggle to get them to actually go from like being aware to actually being able to change that thought because like it's more than just like shouting affirmations in the mirror. It's more than just like saying like I love myself. I am worthy. Like if your body doesn't believe it, then the wound is gonna stay there. And like you might be able to like overpower it with, enough words over many years, but like looking for evidence is one of the key pieces. So like finding the evidence to support that so you can actually like prove to yourself that that thought is true. Hey everyone. So we already know how many people feel stuck in the limitations of conventional medicine, and that's exactly why I created Holistic Health with Melissa, to take you on a journey from conventional to crunchy. Here you'll get empowering wellness insights, practical tips, and faith-centered strategies to help you feel your absolute best. In each episode, we'll dig into what true health and wellness really means. We'll dive into nutrition, lifestyle, mindset, and detox, all things so important to your health. And we'll chat about raising kids with intention and living life of faith. So join me to reclaim your energy, embrace your healthiest life, and find joy and purpose along the way. Hey ladies, thank you for being here. I am so excited to dive into today's podcast. But first, I want to grab your full attention really quick because I want to talk about something really exciting that's coming up. If you have been feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, anxious, or you feel like you're just living in constant survival mode, then listen up because this is for you. I am hosting a brand new 3-day mind-body healing workshop. It's unlike anything I've ever done before. This is for you if you're a woman who feels like you've tried everything. You've tried all the supplements, the diets, the therapy, the positive thinking, and you still feel stuck in your stress, stuck in your symptoms, and in a spiral of burnout and survival mode. Over the course of these 3 powerful days, I'm going to teach you the exact nervous system regulation techniques that helped me and hundreds of women like you finally get out of fight or flight, start healing from chronic stress and trauma, and reconnect with our true selves, reclaiming our energy, getting our confidence back, and finally living in alignment with God's calling. You'll learn how to calm your body in real time, release trapped emotions and patterns that are keeping you stuck, release those limiting beliefs that are ruminating in your head, reclaim your energy and your mental clarity, regulate your emotions instead of reacting, rebuild your confidence and self-trust, and start feeling safe in your body again. This isn't just about managing your symptoms, it's about transformation. It's about becoming the woman who no longer feels like she's barely holding it all together. It's about healing at the root of your symptoms so you can finally feel that peace, your power, and your purpose in your everyday life. It's practical, powerful, and it's exactly what your nervous system has been craving. So grab your spot now. The link is in the show notes. There's limited spots available. I cannot wait to walk through this with you. See you there. Hey everyone, welcome back to Holistic Health with Melissa. I am so excited that you are here. I have a guest today, and I cannot wait to dive into this conversation. It's going to be so incredible. So, Megan Babcock is a certified mental health and trauma transformation coach, national speaker, and author of Unstuck, Break Free from What's Holding You Back and Create the Life You Love. With 23 years in healthcare as a registered nurse, board certified nurse coach, and board certified holistic nurse, Megan brings both clinical expertise and deep compassion to her work. She specializes in helping individuals and organizations identify the unseen wounds holding them back and provides tools for lasting healing and growth. Through a unique blend of neuroscience, biblical wisdom, and trauma informed coaching, Megan guides her clients to break the cycles, build emotional resilience, and step into purpose-driven leadership. Her message empowers others to rewrite limiting beliefs, regulate through hard emotions, and embrace life of clarity, confidence, and authentic impact. Megan's approach is both practical and heart-centered, equipping people to transform pain into purpose and live the story they were always meant to tell. What a beautiful bio. I cannot wait to dive in and talk to you today, Megan. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Melissa, for having me. I was super excited to connect with you, and it's always fun when you get to meet new people who have a similar background and passion. So, thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
Yeah, we have so many similarities, so I'm sure that this is going to be like a incredible conversation, but I'd love to start by just kind of hearing like that is what an incredible bio to start with. And like I just love to hear some of the background. Like how did you wind up in healthcare? How did you wind up pursuing nurse coaching? And what brought you here today?
All right, that's a lot to cover.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to try to summarize all of these years because we have to go all the way back to childhood, really. I grew up in a home that two very loving parents, but we didn't really learn how to talk about feelings and emotions, how to have boundaries. But I loved helping people, and I got a lot of value out of that. And so, healthcare and being a nurse was something my mom asked me, and in my baby book, about 5 years old, it was, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, "A nice nurse."
Hmm.
Well, all these years later, I think I'm a pretty nice nurse. But wow, what a long journey of getting to a place where I'm a healthy, nice nurse, because really nursing filled a wounding. And in my life, I was looking for external validation. I didn't have good self worth. I had a really traumatic event happen to me in my teen years where I was sexually assaulted. And growing up in a Christian home and going to church, I really valued purity and marriage and family. And in that moment, I felt so disqualified. I didn't realize it at the time, but years later, in my mid 30s, I'm turning 46 in 5 days. So I was around, 10 years ago. And I was in a very, very desperate and dark place. I was in a domestic violence marriage. People would never know that because I was very like strong. I could pull up my bootstraps. I thought that's what resilience was, which it's not. And I love helping people to understand there's a difference between plowing ahead and just trying to avoid everything and look a certain way and actually having the skills and the ability to navigate hard things. And that's what I love helping people do. But our words are powerful. Our words, when I said I'm going to be a nice nurse, like that came true. In that moment when I was in that traumatic situation, I didn't know it at the time, but as I was on my healing journey, God revealed to me that I had partnered with a lie. And he allowed me to go back into that space in a very, I wasn't reliving it like a flashback, but being able to be there with myself with compassion and looking to understand what was going on in those moments, because this was having such an impact on my life and I was so broken and I was ready to do something different. And in that moment, I realized that I said, I will never have a good husband. I believed that because of what had happened, I was not worthy. There wouldn't be a good Christian man who wanted to have me as his wife. And that became a self-fulfilling prophecy, because what we believe, we act on. And in that, I made choices in relationships that were not good for me. And at this point in my life, I had three children, and I was a stepmom to another son. And I was at the end. I didn't know what to do. And I cried out, and God answered. Uh, and He said, "Take your thoughts captive." And I'll be honest, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, I am desperate, and you want me to take my thoughts captive? Like, how long is this gonna take? I need, like, a miracle here." But I was desperate enough at that point to try something different. And when I started taking my thoughts captive, I asked him, "Okay, now what? What do I do?" And he once I take them captive, and he's like, "You need to evaluate them. Are these thoughts in line with who I am, God's character?" And he took me to the fruits of the Spirit, and he said, if it's not love, joy, peace, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, self control, you need to replace the thoughts. And, this is what neuroscience is, transforming your mind. The Bible told us how to do this ancient times. And so as I began walking this out, it wasn't like the instant fix that we all hope for, but it was one that totally transformed my life, allowed me to start learning how to have boundaries, work through my identity, and ultimately led me to where I'm at today. And I have an amazing husband, the one that I always dreamed of, because I was able to do my work and start reflecting that value for myself that then attracted other people who also valued me. So that's kind of my journey into personal development. And then as I was telling you before we got started, my husband, the week we got married, and it was so hard for me to get married again because I was like, I have royally messed this up twice. Like, do I even want to go down this road? And I knew I could, I was just like, God, I can't handle any more loss. Like, this has just been too much. I wasn't sure if I wanted to be in a relationship. And God really said, you are sabotaging yourself. Like, I have a good gift for you. Trust me. And the week we got married, he got diagnosed with cancer.
Oh my
And I was
gosh.
like, what, God? Like, are you serious? And uh yeah, that was really hard, because it was very lethal cancer. He had acute lymphoblastic leukemia, lymphoma, um, had to have a bone marrow transplant. There was one donor in the entire world. She was in Greece, um, who donated, saved his life. And we spent a year of really hard. That was starting our marriage off. But God was so faithful and so good as we walked through that journey. And then, because I love a holistic approach, I've always, even as a nurse, I don't take medication unless it's like I've done all the other things that can support my body. And because there is a time and a place for everything. God gave us medicine, He gave us doctors, but we can't always just be looking for the quick fix, just like He showed me in my emotional and spiritual journey. And so his oncologist ended up being a naturopath before, which was so crazy because there's just, it's unheard of. But it was like God's answer to my prayer to be able to have this holistic approach. And she walked us through it. And the crazy thing is, Facebook sees everything you're looking at. So then it started showing me the functional medicine course that was just getting ready to launch with the International Nurse Coaching Academy. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Took that, and then I started getting Facebook things on nurse coaching. And I was like, what is this? I've never even heard of this. I love personal development and professional development. So I went through that program, amazing, and sat for the boards for both the coaching and the holistic nurse. And what I realized in that journey of doing the practicum and all the coaching hours is that people, I would say I'm a nurse coach and I need to do practice hours and looking to get people, and everybody was coming with diabetes. I want to lose weight. I need to control my blood pressure. And what God started to show me is that there's a root to so many of these physical expressions of these health conditions. And so I started to see how connected our mind and the wounding that we're walking in is in affecting not just our emotions and our spirituality, but our body. And it was so amazing when I started to help clients get to why they knew all the things to lower their blood pressure, control their diabetes and lose weight, but there was something that kept them stuck and they weren't able to do what they wanted to do. It reminds me of Paul, who talks about, I do the things I don't want to do and I don't do the things that I want to do. And that's because there's a reason, there's a place there that's keeping us stuck. And so it's just been so fun working with people and helping them to uncover those areas that they had been avoiding and causing harm and trauma, because it just keeps precipitating itself if you don't deal with it.
Yeah. Wow. We have such like we align so like parallel in our beliefs and our some of our story. Even it's just really incredible to hear other people, like you were saying, like it's just really so cool to hear other people's journey and experience, and how we kind of both wound up in this same place of like having God reveal to us, like you said, like he told you take your thoughts captive. He never actually told me that, but like that's ultimately what I got to. And like I realized my previous trauma and everything I had been through as a child like was really affecting me and had made me like an anxious, depressed, panicked like mess. Like I couldn't even cope with just even
Mm.
little stressors in life in my 20s. And I started meditating as a form of like this kind of like last ditch effort. I'm like, I'll try anything. And meditation helped me like take my thoughts captive. And
Right.
now I just love that. You said something, you said, I wrote it down because it was, well, two things that you said when that I wrote down. One was that words are so powerful. And the other one, you
Mhm.
said you realized when you were evaluating what was going on that you had partnered with a lie. And I'm
Mhm.
like, that right there, partnered with a lie, is like so powerful. And it just kind of like ties right into the words are powerful. I'd love to like kind of unpack that a little bit, and curious like
Mm.
your perspective and what you see with your clients now, and just like even just not even with clients necessarily, just like in society and humanity, like
Mhm.
where do you see that people like don't understand the power of their words, or like are partnered with a lie that's really holding them back? Like, can you give us some examples, or, what,
Yeah.
just whatever comes to mind about all that?
Well, first, I want to say, what God showed me about the power of words is that The universe was spoken into existence with words. Let there be light, right? And if you look at your life and you got honest, right? Because honesty is the key. Because if we're denying, you cannot heal what you won't reveal. And so when you look at your life and you kind of take inventory, do you feel like I'm not living the life that I dream of? That was me. Like I had a dream. I'm a big dreamer. And yet my life did not look like what I was dreaming of. And so as I started to evaluate why is there not alignment in this, what I realized is the way that I spoke to myself, the beliefs
Mhm.
that I had about my worth, my identity, even if something was truly possible, was actually my reality. Okay, so I knew that I was made for more and I wanted more, but I wasn't living it. And I was living the life that my words matched. And so I was like, okay, God's showing me that if I learn to change my language, I can change my life. And when I started the journey, meditation was very important to me too, because if you cannot get quiet, which I hated to sit still, I
Yeah.
hated to be quiet
You're not alone. So
because
many people hate that.
because that is a scary place to be. And if I like the things that I would say to myself, I would never speak out loud. I would never say them to anybody else.
Yeah.
And so by recognizing this, I was like, oh my goodness, like this is bad. I can't imagine like if I talked to someone else like that, of course they wouldn't be living their dream life. And so, as he showed me to take my thoughts captive, and he said, you have to not just you look at it and say, yeah, it doesn't measure up to like the dream I have, but you have to replace it. And so, as I started to replace it, I didn't really believe it. I was just changing my language. I was just catching it. And if I was saying something negative, I would have to give myself an affirmation of something opposite to that. And that was more in line with like what I was dreaming of. But I didn't believe it at that point. But the crazy thing about our brain is when they've done studies and they look at the person who is doing and living something or acting something out, and then someone who's being told a narrative or speaking it to themselves or wearing your AI, like goggles and doing something, your brain doesn't know the difference. That's why visualization is so powerful, and they use it in the sports world all the time and in personal development spaces where you have to visualize yourself going and getting on a stage and speaking, well, because you're telling your brain you're doing it even if you're not. And so I didn't know that at the time. Now I'm like, all this stuff makes so much sense. But I just started changing the way I spoke. And then not only did I you know, choose an opposite thought, I would go and look for examples in my life where that might be true to just kind of
Mm,
reinforce that about
yeah.
myself. And over time, it started to transform everything. And I'd look back and I'm like, oh my goodness, I was not critical of myself in that moment. Like I would have totally just been ruminating on that. I said the wrong thing, I did the wrong thing, and I would just beat myself up for days with such shame. Um, but I had grace and compassion for myself. And at the same time, I was learning about God's character, and it wasn't what I thought. I thought, hey, way back then when that event happened in my teens, I had disobeyed my parents and gone someplace that I should not have gone. And so when that happened, I was like, well, there's consequences to our sin. So I just have to live with it.
Mm.
Well, that's not who God is. That's not what he has for us. And by hiding that and keeping it in the darkness, the enemy just totally had a heyday with my life for 20 years.
Mm. So powerful. I love that you would go and find evidence to support the new thought because I find that like I talk a lot about this same stuff and like your identity and self-talk, your thought life, like what are you telling yourself? And I always say awareness is the first step. You have to admit it to yourself. You have to be honest with yourself because that's where your power lies. Once you actually admit it to yourself, you become aware of it and admit it, that's where you have the agency to change it. If
Yeah.
you're not going to admit it, you're not going to have any agency to change it. So I love that. When I talk to clients, I sometimes have them like struggle to get them to actually go from like being aware to actually being able to change that thought because like it's more than just like shouting affirmations in the mirror. It's more than just like saying like I love myself. I am worthy. Like if your body doesn't believe it,
Mm.
then the wound is gonna stay there. And like you might be able to like overpower it with, enough words over many years, but like looking for evidence is one of the key pieces. So like finding the evidence to support that so you can actually like prove to yourself that that thought is true. And then what I love to do also is somatic work. So like somatic
Mhm.
integration, like getting your body to calm down, which is so
Yep.
hard to do in today's day and age. Like you said, like nobody wants to sit still. But getting your body to actually like calm down so you can reestablish that connection between the mind and the body and actually get your body to believe what you're telling yourself. That
Yes.
is so powerful. I love that you did that. Um, when you talk about like breaking free from these patterns and these strongholds and these lies of that are straight from the pit of hell, what are some of the most common things that you see holding people back?
So I really think it's identity. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough money. And the thing that I had to learn is the dreams that I have, I'm actually not good enough, smart enough, have enough in
Yeah.
order to do those because nothing is impossible with God. And I myself am not qualified. And I used to think, oh, I just will get another certification. I'll go to school for this. I went halfway through nurse practitioner school because I thought I needed that. And I was like, wait, I don't even want to work in a hospital or in a clinic or like, why am I doing this? It was because I didn't feel capable enough. And so when I accepted that I am not in and of myself able to do the things that I believe I'm called to.
Mm,
And so it'll keep sneaking in, right? Imposter syndrome keeps coming back, but you have to, if you're measuring your thoughts, then you capture it and you say, wait, no, that is not true because, or yeah, you know what? That is true. I'm not capable. I was having this conversation with myself today. And one of the things I love, because I'm big into somatic and creating safety in your body and all of those things as well. And I'm certified in dialectical behavior skills, which is like the opposite action, because you're reprogramming your brain. It doesn't matter if you what action you take, as long as it's not the same one that you've done over and over and not getting the results you want, because then you're just showing yourself that there's possibilities. Checking the facts, like going and seeing, is that actually true? Or is there other possibilities? But I find doing this work while you're walking is
mm,
so powerful.
mm,
So, I have this program that I just launched. It was totally God inspired, and it's been the easiest thing that I've put together. And it's called Sacred Pathways, and it's a walking mentorship where the whole idea is just to move your body because the bilateral movement of walking calms the nervous system,
Yep.
activates both sides of your brain. So you've got your creative and your strategic side working with you, and your nervous system is calm. So you have this really great place to then get curious with God. And so it walks like every week, there's certain things like identity is the first one in self-awareness, right? 'Cause I agree. That's also the first chapter of my book. Like, if you don't have self-awareness, you can't do anything. You're literally stuck, right?
Yeah.
And so then you're just asking God for the answer because I'm just a conduit. You're a conduit for asking questions. Sometimes we don't want to ask ourselves questions and or we're afraid like, "Ooh, I know if I ask myself that question, I'm going to have to do something different." Like I lived in denial that my marriage was a domestic violence marriage because
Mm.
I knew if I admitted that, I couldn't stay, I couldn't keep my kids in that situation, but I was afraid of what might happen, right? And so admitting it and then asking good questions. My coaching is based around compassion because if you cannot have self-compassion, and I had no idea how to do that. So another part of my coaching is community because you need to be able to be around other people who can offer you compassion
Mm.
that you don't, and encouragement that you can't even give
Hmm.
to yourself. And then curiosity, because even if I went back to when God revealed to me that lie that I partnered with, I had to go back into that place. And I needed to look at it from a curious standpoint, not as reliving it. And that's the power of curiosity because you're looking at it as if you were a reporter or a private investigator and just going and looking for the facts, what was happening, who was there, what it was I thinking. And then it gives you all of this information to be able to make different choices.
So good. What are some practical ways that people can start if they're like, well, I don't really know, like, how do I even take my thoughts captive? Or like, I hear from a lot of people, like, I don't really know what I'm thinking.
Mm,
What is your
yeah.
advice to them?
So I didn't know what I was thinking either. I just knew that I was anxious, overwhelmed, and burnout.
Yeah.
So those are good signs that your thoughts are not helping you. They're actually making your life worse and re-traumatizing you every day, and keeping you stuck. So get out on a walk, go do some meditation. On my website, It's Your Story to Tell, we have an entire section of guided mindfulness, and there's all kinds of different topics so that you can find something of like, this is how I'm feeling. I love that there's so many different techniques like tapping. If you guys don't know what that is, like just Google it, YouTube it. It's out there and it can just walk you through. Because in order to be able to move through this, you have to start caring for yourself because you can't go into the thoughts without new skills. Because the reason you're avoiding the thoughts is because you don't have the capacity to sit in the discomfort. And
Mm-hmm.
so there's, tapping, there's EMDR, there's bilateral like music that you can listen to help you. There's getting out and walking, um, finding a community, just admitting to yourself like there is no shame. The enemy wants you to believe that you're not qualified, you'll never move out of this. And again, those are all lies. And if you continue to feel what you're feeling, you are partnering with the lie, you are contributing to staying stuck. And that was hard for me when I realized, ooh, I participated in this. Like
Mm.
I extended this trauma for 20 years. And not only did that, but then now I have passed down things to my kids. that
Hmm.
we're now reclaiming, right? And my son, he's 23, but my second podcast episode we did together, and we talked about how hurt people, and he had to go on his journey and do a lot of healing, and was drinking at a young age, and God has totally redeemed that. He's now has his own company. He has an excavation company. He likes to mentor young men, and it's so cool. But I had to start doing my work
Yeah.
to be able to lead my children into something different. And the
Ugh,
encouragement is it's never too late. Never. All you have to do
yeah.
is decide, like, I want to do it different. I want to break this off, not just of me, but I want to break it off for my whole family. And you can do that.
Yeah. I love that. I always say the best thing that you can do for your kids is to heal yourself. It's 100% hands down, like the best thing you can do for your children is to heal yourself and start caring for yourself. I think in our society have this like twisted idea that like taking care of yourself is selfish, and it's actually the opposite. It's actually completely like in line with the Bible. It's completely in line with what Jesus wants for us, and it's the best thing that you can do for not only your kids but everyone around you, your spouse, your friends. Like, to watch you take really good care of yourself, everybody else is going to rise to that level, and they're going to want
Mhm.
what you have when you start to like take your thoughts captive and take care of your body physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like, oh, so good. I love it so much. I'd
Yep,
love to
there's
like,
power in leading
yeah,
others to do it
yes,
through example. It's better to do
so
it than to
good.
say it.
So good. I'd love to like hear a little bit before we wrap up. I'd love to talk a little bit about the book. If
Mhm.
that's okay, kind of switching gears a little bit. I'd love for you to tell us um kind of like what inspired you to write the book, and what's like maybe one thing that you hope that readers take away from it, and then tell us like what it's called and where everybody can find it.
Okay. So the book's Unstuck, and it's about being able to create the life that you're dreaming of. I believe the dreams that you have are God given, and they are a little look into who you were created to be and what you were created to do in the world. And so, dealing with the wounding, the first four chapters are about hidden wounds. So, for me, I did not think I had any trauma. Even though I had sexual assaults and I had all of these things, I didn't think that I had trauma. And so it talks about helping people to look at their life and what they're seeing on the outside, to evaluate if probably there is hidden wounds. So the first four chapters are about that. Each chapter has a little bit of education, and then it has a section called Insights to Action, because I want to help people to be able to do something with it. It's like, it's not good enough to just know it. You have to actually
Yeah,
do something. And
right.
so then the last eight chapters are really about, okay, now that you are honest with yourself, you know what you have to deal with, and you've walked through that, you can choose something different. And so it's walking them to basically how to create that life you love very intentionally. So each chapter is a different step to take to get there. And you asked, why did I write this book? I never thought I would write a book. I never thought I'd have a podcast. I never thought I would be a coach. I thought I would, I coached and led in, my career, but it wasn't something that I saw doing in this capacity. But God had told me in 2007, when I was still in the depths of just dysfunction, I was in a Beth Moore Bible study called Get Out of the Pit, I think, something around that. And I remember that this lesson, because you would watch the video lesson and Beth Moore would speak, and she was like, Oh, my pit, I love my pit. Like I was decorating my pit. It had furniture. I was like, oh yeah, I'm like dusting my pit. It's like dirt, but I'm like dusting it. So I was like, I totally get it. And I still didn't move out of it because it wasn't until like 9 years later that I really came to the end of myself. And so, but God had told me in that Bible study that you are going to be going into darkness and bringing light. And I remembered it. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't think that was really okay. I serve in church and I do all those things. Okay. But now I know what I'm doing now is going in. I went into my own darkness and was able to shine the light with him. I am able to do that with other people. And now I can say, I'm not afraid of the dark. Like yours, mine, and we can expose it together, and when we do and there's light on it, it loses power. And I think that's what you were saying. When you admit it and you bring it to the surface, you now have agency and you can
Yeah.
now change it. And so if anybody is in that dark, desperate place where they just feel like they don't want to keep going, I see you. I've been there, and there is hope. That's why my practice is called It's Your Story to Tell, because God gave me that name. Like when He gave it to me, I was like, there's no way that's available. It's too good. Guess what? God knows everything because it was available. It's now trademarked and it's my podcast and it's my practice. But what's so cool about it is it's Melissa's story to tell, it's Megan's story to tell, it's God's story to tell. It's multi-directional. And I do believe that it's by the power of his blood and the word of our testimony that people are saved and things are redeemed.
Amen. Oh,
So, yeah, you're never too far gone, and you have the ability to choose something different. That's what I'd want people to walk away from.
I just want to simmer in that for a second. That is like so good. So good. Gosh, Megan, I mean I feel so blessed because I have like the best guests on this podcast, and I enjoy talking to women like you so much. I
Mm.
cannot even believe that I'm so lucky that like God just gave me this platform to be able to do this. You are incredible, and the work that you are doing is incredible, and the world needs more of Megan Babcock. So if any of the
And Melissa Armstrong and all of the amazing people with a story who've
yeah,
overcome, right? That's what he
yeah,
wants to use us.
yep,
You have to
yep, by the
be willing to share it.
power of his blood and the word of our testimony. Amen. If people are listening right now and they want to get a hold of you, how can they do that? And how can they find the book? That was the other thing that,
Oh, yes, thank you for the reminder. So it's yourstorytotell.com. You can find me there. It connects to all of my social media. You can find my personal Facebook where I'm very open about what God is working in me, because we're never perfect. And so um, every day he's showing me new things and I share those. And that's just Megan Baker Babcock. The book Unstuck launches on my birthday, July 30th, in just 5 days. You can find it on Amazon, and the ebook is only 99 cents right now for the whole month of from July 30th to the end of August. And all of the book proceeds go to support my scholarships through the It's Your Story to Tell nonprofit. And we make coaching available to people who can't afford it, but totally deserve to have access to it. And so if you need support and you're thinking, gosh, I'd love that, but I'm sure I can't afford it, please reach out. On our homepage. There's a scholarship application, because we don't want you trying to do this alone. Like, we're better together. And I'm just really thankful for you, Melissa, and for the light that you're bringing into darkness and the difference that you're making through your podcast and the work that you do. It's really special.
Oh, thank you so much. Also, like I said, we talked before we got started, we talked briefly about the Nurse Coaching Association. And this is something that was new to me. So I want you to give that a little plug and tell, because I have a lot of listeners who are practitioners themselves and coaches and nurses themselves. So give that a little plug.
Sure. So we are in the process of merging between two organizations, and I think it's so cool because we really believe in collaboration. So right now, if you go to nursecoachesassociation.org, you can join us, and we're in transition, and you'll be able to get all of the updates for the new website. But what's really cool about it is you can submit your information about who you are, who you work with, how people can connect with you so that we can connect you with others in your state, but also for the person who's like, oh, nurse coaching, that sounds really like I could benefit from somebody like that in my life and helping me to navigate things. um, if you have listeners that aren't practitioners but are looking for something like that, it allows all of these coaches to come together and highlight their specialty and the work that they do, because I believe there's so many people that need help, but they just don't know where to look. And so this is a place where nurse coaches can get connected, but we're going to be able to show the world what it is that we do and how we make a difference. And people are going to be able to find us and understand it so that they can value it and start utilizing it to become the best person in their mind, body, and spirit.
Oh, I love that so much. That's nursecoachesassociation.org. And Megan's website is itsyourstorytotell.com. I'll have all of those links in the show notes. If this resonates with you, you want to talk to Megan, you want to know more about the Nurse Coaches Association or her book or anything, reach out to her through those avenues. Definitely go buy the book. You will not regret it. And if this episode resonated with you, please send it to a friend and
Yeah.
leave us a review. That helps us get this word out. Like, this is such a passion of mine and Megan's and so many other guests that I've had on the podcast. Like, we need to get this message out to more people, empowering people to create the life that they want and that they are destined to, that God has called them to live. Like, and you hear it from me all the time. It doesn't matter what the diagnosis is. It doesn't matter what your history is, what your past has shown you, or any of the struggles that you currently have. Healing is always possible. So thank you so much, Megan, for being here and for sharing this message. And it was an absolute honor to meet you and to chat with you. Come back anytime.
The pleasure's all mine. Thanks for the support.
Thanks, Megan. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to Holistic Health with Melissa. It is such an honor to have you here. If you found value in today's episode, would you share it with a friend who might need it too and leave us a review? If you have questions or topic suggestions, reach out on social media or visit our website, holistichealthbymelissa.com, and take care. I'll catch you on the next episode.